It seems like our dogs will bark for just about anything and everything, so the article To Bark or Not to Bark, 5 Basic Steps to Successful Training Your Dog can help you. Training your dog to stop barking may seem daunting, but with a little bit of work from you, anything is possible. In this article, we guide you about training your dog so you have the tools you need to teach your dog when and when not to bark. Until you train your dog otherwise, they basically think they must report everything pretty much they hear, as they hear it. To your dog, anything can be a potential threat, and barking is their only alarm. Especially when you are living in an apartment, one of the main reasons your dog barks is random noises. To dogs who are sensitive to noise and vibrations, loud neighbors, other animals, kids, and random noises that come with the everyday life of apartment living probably sound a little bit like a purge until you see what is really going on. It is important not to discipline your dog every time they bark, but teach them when and how to instead. You can use these steps to train your dog for almost anything. One of the best ways to have your dog bark trained is by teaching them how to bark properly. Once your dog realizes there is a time and a place for barking, they will start to bark less at seemingly everything. Start by observing what triggers your dog barking so you can plan what you need to work on. It's likely your dog is triggered by the same noises every time, so take note of what you need to train your dog on and work on those areas specifically. Next is to introduce your dog to the sound so they can understand where it is coming from. Much of the time, dogs are barking out of curiosity, and you can help them stop barking at the same things in the future by teaching them what the sounds are. For example, if your dog is triggered by noise in the hall, let your dog watch what is making the noise. If your dog barks at people in the hallway, it is helpful to try and let your dog meet as many of your neighbors as possible. Likely your pet barks at your next-door neighbors the most since they're the closest, and your dog can't always tell if it's their door or yours. So, if your neighbor and your dog are both friendly, try a meet and greet as they're coming and going so your dog gets familiar with them and stops barking at them. Now that your dog is familiar with the white noise and people of your building, start training them on the sound of your next-door neighbors if that's a problem area for your dog. Have your neighbor leave and come back and work on how your dog reacts. When your dog starts to react to the noise of your neighbor, start by getting your dog to sit and work up to add in your own no barking command. When your dog hears them and starts to react, get them to sit and stay. Open your door so your dog can associate the sound with the person. Now that your dog knows that the sound of the keys in the lock next door is just your friendly neighbor who isn't a threat, they will start barking less. Repeat the exercise. This time, don't open the door right away. Ask your dog to sit and use your no barking command to get the dog to sit and try to be quiet before opening the door. Your dog probably knows who is on the other side of the door if you do this a few times in a row, so it is important to do this outside of your training exercise as well. As your dog starts to change his reactions, keep refreshing the training and rewarding their efforts. The next situation you want to train your dog in is when there is a knock on your door. Since your dog thinks he is doing his job by reporting every noise to you, it is important to teach him which noises to look out for and how to react to them. Once you have observed how they are reacting and you have decided how you want them trained, it's time to work on replacing their barking with that reaction instead. Training is most effective if you can dedicate time out each day for your dog where you are going to work on the specific things, rather than just trying to correct the behavior as it pops up. The first thing you want to do is get their attention by having them sit. Once they're sitting, work on getting them to stop barking using your designated command. Reward them for sitting and for any efforts made to stop barking at your word. Once you have them trained to stop barking on command, try to repeat the situation and reward them for stopping a few times in a row. Try to avoid calling your dog badly. Focus on rewarding for changed behavior instead. In time, your dog will learn to ignore the noises entirely. Once your dog is more used to everything and you start training, you can begin to train them on how they are barking at your company and at you.